looking for a start now. This is the class. These are the premier karters in Australia. These blokes are the very best. Quite simply put, if you want to watch one kart race all year, sit yourself down now and watch this. Australia's two top international classes of karting. They're both Mark Wicks, this is going to be exciting.
This should be great. We've got Australia's one of their best-known international standard drivers, Troy Hunt, on the pole position. Chris Cox next to him looking for green, and they're away for the 30-lap final. It's Hunt slots into the lead and Tomlinson into second. Looks like Cox has fallen back to third place.
Adam Graham there just forcing his way through. Oh, that's hectic. Yes, there's guys out already. That was always going to happen, but Graham's still forcing his way up, just relegating Mark Winterbottom there.
Looks like Bart Price is out of the race. That's bad luck for Bart. He ran very well earlier in the event, and that's Luke May also in the 18 kart out at the first turn.
Yeah, May's a younger driver who's just stepped up to seniors this year. He's been served up pretty hard, but these guys mean business. Nobody's going to give anybody an inch in this race. This will be worth watching. But up front, it's top kart 1-2. Troy Hunt, probably the most experienced international class driver Australia has, leading teammate Andrew Tomlinson.
Yeah, Troy's raced in 3 rounds of the World Championship this year. Further back, Adam Graham charging up through into third position, so he's really got that thing fired up in the opening laps. Mark Winterbottom in the 4th position.
And Michael Caruso, that's sad. This is his first run this year at a major kart meet. Of course, the winner of the Ford Kart Stars Series in 2000 has been running the Australian Championship in Formula Ford this year, but that's it for Michael Caruso.
It is. It's the end to a disastrous weekend, and who's that? They're getting a wheel off the track. Disastrous run for Caruso. He's bent axles and all sorts of things during the heats. His run has finally come to an end down the inside. Graham, gets through into second position. Winterbottom follows, and it looked like Tomlinson got right out in the marbles.
Yeah, Jeff Grant, just talking about him earlier, the Queensland Steelback driver. He runs into Continental A. Now, the majority of the guys in front of him and behind him are Formula A competitors, as Lyndon Lumbu, the Syndeticom-supported driver, gets a bit of a bad moment further back in the field. But Grant is really doing amazing things. Like, really, these guys in Inter A should probably be a little bit behind the 8-ball compared to the top guys in Formula A. But Grant, he doesn't mind having a bit of a stoush here with Mark Winterbottom.
It's quite significant that Cox is starting to come on strong as the race. Oh, Winterbottom's got a problem there. His hands in the air. It looks like Winterbottom seized his engine. He's out of the event. So Mark Winterbottom, the Australian Formula A champion, out of the APS Pro Nats final.
And up front, I do believe that's Adam Graham. He's taken the lead from Troy Hunt. That is just staggering. We were told earlier in the weekend by John Target, who's a bit of a mentor for young Adam Graham, that you keep an eye on that Arrow driver. He'll be right there. Many people thought, oh yeah, we've heard that before, but that kid has really done some amazing things as poor old Mark Winterbottom drags his kart away. It's over for him on the weekend. Even though a kart may seem simple, ladies and gentlemen, there is plenty of tactics involved in this sport. Now, these guys can set all sorts of things up, as Troy Hunt just shows Adam Graham, hey mate, I've learnt a few things racing overseas against the best drivers in the world. I'll just show you a couple of tips on just how to go around this track a little bit quicker.
It's not uncommon for these karts to get into the front and rear of each other. They've got the plastic nose cone on the front, which is an added safety feature, also good for decorating the kart up and showing off the sponsors, but can also be a good horn.
The APS Pro Nats, this is a promotional class. It isn't an Australian title. It is something that... Adam Graham, he has done a brilliant job. He's back at the front, and Chris Cox just sticking his nose up the inside of Troy Hunt to say, hey, I'm there, and look back there in 4th. Andrew Tomlinson, he may well have had his kart set up to come on late. Hunt's obviously cracked the pace. He seems to be dropping back a little bit, so maybe his kart was set up to come on a little bit too early, but it's going to be a 4-horse race very, very soon.
Yeah, Hunt reaching down to tune the carburetor to get a bit more speed out of that machine. Obviously got caught by a little bit of surprise there by Graham when he went down the inside, but Adam Graham's certainly not going to give this one up.
No, and Troy Hunt's not going to let him get away with it easily either. He's just sitting there. Let's just see how Adam Graham goes around this circuit. He's taking everything in. He knows where he's going to be able to get him, and he will have planned when he is going to get him. It's all about pre-planning what's going to happen, and Troy Hunt's one of the best when it comes to tactics. Well, Tomlinson and Grant, the two top kart drivers, are catching up to the back of Cox here. This is going to get very, very intense.
It certainly is. And Hunt there having a look up the inside. Oh, gets up on the curb. It's given Cox an opportunity, and Chris Cox moves up into second position. So we've got Graham, Cox, and then the three top cart boys.
Yeah, Hunt leading that pack of top cart drivers. Of course, Hunt, then Tomlinson, then Jeffrey Grant still powering away there at the back of Andrew Tomlinson. He doesn't want to do anything silly, but boy, doesn't he want to get to the front of this and show the world that's watching that he really does have the talent to run with the best in this country. It's getting harder for these guys. The sun's starting to set. As they head up the hill into the sun, it's another added factor. Now, Chris Cox, that is aggressive. That's very unlike Chris Cox, and he's just given the old hip and shoulder. Adam Graham, first to fifth. That's how close it is. That's all it takes, and positions have changed quite dramatically. Troy Hunt now pressing on to try and get past Cox.
Yeah, it's effectively the top cart trio now battling for the race lead. Cox there trying to get away, choking the carburettor. Troy Hunt running second. Oh, and Tomlinson almost into the back bar of Hunt.
Yeah, of course, these are 100cc reed and rotary valved engines. They're air-cooled. They'll run to somewhere around 20,000 RPM, so they're finely tuned, and they'll put out a bit over 30 brake horsepower, which, considering the weight of these carts, in around 145 kilos, is quite staggering.
It certainly is. Oh, Cox getting up on two wheels there, coming off the turn.
It's a graphic display there in slow-mo of Chris Cox going through the turn, just hitting those ruts, getting the wheels up in the air, bouncing the cart around. It just shows you quite how violent these things are to drive at times.
Now, there's nothing between these top five drivers in the final of the international class here at Eastern Creek International Raceway. Chris Cox leading them around. He started further back in the field. The cart's coming on stronger and stronger as the race goes on. He's got to the front, but he can't get away.
No, he won't get away either. They're just biding their time. It's going to be a matter of time until somebody wants to make a bit of a break. But these guys, really, they're so close as Jeffrey Grant just taps the back of his teammate Andrew Tomlinson there, slowing him down, and Adam Graham's right back into this race.
Yeah, it's let these front three get away a little bit, Cox, Hunt and Tomlinson, so Grant with a gap back there with Adam Graham right behind him.
Adam Graham's not the bloke you want knocking on your back door this late in the race. Further back behind them, though, you've got West Australia's Paul Williams. He's just holding Joshua Pontello in the Paralinnet Bay. And behind them, the Syndeticom and Simon supported Lyndon Lumbu.
Well, stay with us on Speed Week. We'll be back right after.
Teammates is going to come into play in the closing laps of this race. There's a $5,000 first prize on offer, plus a test drive in the APS Racing Future Tour in the Future Tour Australian Championships. These guys really want that win. It gives them the bucks and it gives them the incentive to get on with their careers.
Well, that's the thing. With $5,000 on the line, I think the team orders have gone out the window as Hunt right behind Cox there through that difficult right-hand corner. The drivers have to be very careful not to drop the wheels off the outside of the circuit. Down the inside, Hunt.
Beautiful move.
Yep.
That's absolutely fantastic.
And
Cox is going to double back on him. And of course, he got Andrew Tomlinson in there too. And oh, here we go. Cox in again. He's just managed to thread the needle as Andrew Tomlinson. These guys are just really putting on a show. The crowd outside is going absolutely ballistic.
Look at Cox there. Slides it up the inside with the back wheel, basically making Troy Hunt say back off or crash. It cost Hunt 2 positions.
3 drivers from New South Wales. The top kart team actually have a base here at Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway. They know the way around this track fast. Chris Cox, he's a gun. He's from Newcastle. He knows the circuit pretty well as well. And now we've got 5 of them, nose to tail. Oh, Chris Cox, that's incredible. He's dropped back a position, but he just managed to hold on to that. Tomlinson grabbing the lead, but Cox has got it again. Hunt's just played the same move out that Tomlinson got played on him the lap prior.
That was unbelievable. Cox there, he nearly tipped that machine over and was very fortunate to be able to get into the lead, let alone stay in the race.
Oh, Jeff Grant's just given Andrew Tomlinson a bit of a love tap there. I don't know that there's going to be too much love lost at the end of this race. It's not over yet. And Adam Graham is right on the back of Grant as Hunt does it in the corner again and managed to hold on to position.
Gee, Hunt had that thing crossed up coming down the hill and Graham gets clipped up on the curb but moves up a position. So Hunt's got back to the front now. Can he drive away? He hasn't been able to the last 10 laps.
Yeah, I reckon he's got the head down now. He's going to put all the experience he's gained in those 2 years of international competition into play. Now, he knows better than anybody that you don't want to get caught up in a fight in these closing laps. There's $5,000 on offer. That's a fairly handy paycheck. I want to get away. I'm just going to concentrate on the smoothest, most accurate lap I can put in.
Well, with a cash prize up like that, yeah, it certainly concentrates the attention span. as they head down through the hill. Again, Chris Cox reaching down over the airbox to choke the engine, running fairly conservatively, I think, still, because there's still some... Adam Graham down the inside and up to third place, so Graham now fighting back.
There's nothing conservative about Adam Graham's approach. He's sat there, he's watched everybody, he's seen it from the back, he knows what's going to... Oh, what a crash. Chris Cox out. Troy Hunt having lost a wheel. That's it. It's all over. And Troy Hunt, he's not happy, but back at the front, it's still Adam Graham. Cox removes himself from the kart. Hunt throws his gloves in disgust. And Graham's got himself to the front. Grant second, Tomlinson third. It's not over yet.
Unbelievable there. Troy Hunt and Chris Cox going out of the event. They're coming around to get the last lap board.
5 to 3. 5 goes down to 3. It's the last lap. Can Jeffrey Grant do it? Can he make himself a superstar out of this one race? Adam Graham will be hoping no. He knows that he is the only man who's managed to pull off the move of all moves on that last corner. Will he duplicate what he did in 2000 and try it again? Or will he keep that front position and somebody try it on him?
Well, that's the thing, Graham driving the Australian machine. There's a lot of support here for the local product up against the Top Kart's home track, effectively, for the local team. And and Jeff Grant up the back there out into the dirt. And it's Tomlinson who's come through in the final series of corners. Andrew Tomlinson has taken the win.
Andrew Tomlinson absolutely ecstatic. He was in the place he needed to be. He's punched the air. He's won his first big-time major event. Adam Graham acknowledging the fact that he's taken that place away. Caught up in the end. Very, very disappointing that he hasn't managed to actually pull off the win, but he was lucky to even stay on the circuit. Jeff Grant holding on to third position. Joshua Pontello there actually placed fifth. And Paul Williams as the ecstatic Andrew Tomlinson comes to the line. We're breathless here, ladies and gentlemen. That was just the most outstanding race.
Now let's go back and take a look at that incident with 2 laps to go between Chris Cox and Troy Hunt. Chris Cox went to go down the inside of Troy. There was some contact made there, and off they go, tearing a wheel off Hunt's kart. And Chris Cox, so lucky not for the back of the kart not to dig in and flip him over backwards. So both drivers there fortunate to get away with it, but both of them out of the race and no chance of $5,000.